Okay, my name is Bobby Vaught. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you so choose. In the description below, I'll put a link to lesson 1 of a series that I've done, Everything You Need to Know to Understand Investing, up to 17 lessons now. If you go through the whole thing, you will understand investing better than 99% of the people out there. I'll put a link to lesson 1 in the description, and then each lesson has a link to the next one. So lesson 1 has a link to lesson 2, which has a link to lesson 3, and so on and so forth. Make them all real easy to find. Today's presentation is not about that, however. It's two different parts of this channel. There's the investing side, which I just mentioned, and then we have I'd also do a lot of political, social, economics commentary, that kind of thing. And this is January 23rd, 2026, exactly at noon. And just something I came across this morning, and I found it kind of funny. You may have seen this already. I have no idea, but I couldn't help myself. I just saw it for the first time, and I found it funny. Something that happened with Don Lemon about 3 months ago, back in October of 2025. And so we're just going to take a listen here, and I'll turn the camera around so you can see it and make some comments on it. Okay, so it starts off with this woman here asking, so crossing the border illegally is not a crime? And I'll turn the camera around so you can see the whole thing here. And Don Lemon's over here on this side. You'll see him in a second. The comical part about this is that Lemon is the one with the microphone. He's the one in charge. I mean, he's the one out there interviewing other people, and he's, we're going to see the educator get an education here, and here we go.
The border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act.
Okay.
It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not,
okay, well,
why are they being rounded up and sent out? Especially when
they need to go if they're criminals. Okay, well, I'm glad we agree on that.
he promised to deport the criminals. And now he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going.
Misdemeanor is not a crime. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not
It's
a
not
crime?
a criminal act. No.
A misdemeanor is not a criminal act. Okay.
You get charged with a misdemeanor. That's not a criminal
why
act.
charge I don't then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have
Great question.
different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No.
What century are we in?
So he's been saying it's not a criminal act, a misdemeanor is not a crime, and then he says he's explaining himself, but we have different levels of crime.
Misdemeanor is not a crime. That's what you're saying.
So misdemeanor is not
It's
a
not a
crime?
criminal act. No. If you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a
So
criminal
why
act.
charge I don't then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So
Mm-hmm.
it is crime.
No,
It's just
we
a
have
different level.
different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but
You just did.
it's not. You're not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law.
It's not a crime, you're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law. Oh, boy.
What century?
Breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
No,
It's a law, but it's
you're
just
not breaking the law.
a
A misdemeanor is not
crime.
breaking the law. So
No.
if you're speeding, drinking,
He's flipped
getting
back.
over, DUI,
That's not a criminal act. Well, no,
It's a
if you're
misdemeanor.
speeding, is a misdemeanor.
it's a
Right.
misdemeanor.
No. Speeding per se is not a misdemeanor. Speeding is what's called a civil violation. If you have, unless it's just extremely excessive, well, of course. I mean, if you're going, there's some cutoff point. I'm sure it varies from state to state. There's going to be some cutoff point where it can become a misdemeanor. Of course, if you're going out, if you're racing or you do something like you go out here and do, it's reckless driving. If you're going 100 miles an hour in a 35, well, obviously, yeah, it's going to be, at some point it becomes a crime, a misdemeanor, or worse, possibly. But and speeding per se is, or anything like any moving violation, you didn't make a complete stop, okay? That's a civil violation. You probably, let me ask you a question. So most of you have had a some kind of moving violation with your vehicle at some point in your life. Maybe you didn't, but most people have, okay? At some point. I mean, you had you were speeding or something, and maybe it wasn't even with intent. Maybe you're going 70 miles an hour down the highway, and you didn't realize you were lead footing it or something, and you got a citation for going 83 miles an hour in a 70 or something like that. And most likely you realized, okay, it wasn't with intent, but it was still my fault. And so probably you just went down and paid the fine, right? So, but let me ask you a question. So most of you have had most likely anybody watching this video probably has had some kind of moving violation with their vehicle, right? Let me ask you a question. And maybe at some later point in time, or you thought could be at some later point in time, you may be applying for a new job or something like that. And maybe they do a criminal background check. Were you concerned, would you be concerned about a criminal background check on you coming up with a speeding ticket? No, I didn't think so. No, Mr. Lemon. It's a moving or a civil violation. Let's continue. Let's continue here. Let me back it up just a little bit, just about 10 or 15 seconds so, because I want to make sure we get the full flavor of it. Turn it back around here.
DUI.
That's not a criminal. Well, no, if you're speeding is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor.
Right.
So still breaking the law.
Okay. Well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics.
Because
But what I'm saying, but what I'm trying to tell you is everything is not the same. It's all not one thing.
But is it the law?
What is it? The law that what?
Is it law to come
Is
over
there a
legally?
law?
Is there a law?
There are rules that processes that you should follow. Yeah. So you're breaking rules. You're breaking the
You're merely breaking rules now. I don't know. I guess it's merely breaking a rule. Yeah, I mean, you know, so now it's on the level of, I don't know, like if somebody's in the fourth grade and disrupting the class and, you know, is breaking a rule.
rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
So what happens when you break the rules?
Then you start.
Right. Then you suffer the consequences. Even if it's just a civil violation, like a speeding ticket, then you suffer the consequences. You went down and paid a fine, and there's other consequences, you know, like misdemeanor and felony.
The consequences, but the consequences should not. Look, no one is saying no.
Yeah, breaking the rules, he said. That is not of a classification. The classifications are a civil violation, misdemeanor, or a felony, or different levels of felonies and, you know, like that, different levels of misdemeanors. But breaking the rules is not a classification in this context.
Once you start with the consequences, you guys are getting things mixed up.
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not.
And it started over. Wait a minute, just one more time for effect. I just wanted to hear the end of that one more time.
A process that you should follow. Yeah, so you're breaking rules. You're breaking the rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
So what happens when you break the rules?
Then you start with the consequences. But the consequences should not. Look, no one is saying no one should start with the consequences. You guys are getting things mixed up.
Oh, you guys are getting things mixed up. He thinks they're the ones getting things mixed up. These two people really didn't even make a lot of statements, but they're mostly asking questions. Don Lemon was mixing himself up. Unbelievable. You know what? I haven't even had television service in over 5 years. I don't bother with it. Basically, all I do is I see the news like on the you like Yahoo News, right there it pops up, and I get social media page. I see what everybody's talking about. I watch the podcasters and so forth, and just that's just how I do it. I don't bother watching sitcoms on television anymore because I find, just personally, this is just me, maybe it's my opinion, doesn't have to be yours, but personally, I just find the real life stuff much funnier, quite frankly. Oh boy. I'm going to leave it right there. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you so choose. There's that series that I did, Everything You Need to Understand Investing. I'll put a link to lesson 1 in the description below. Other than that, until next time, I hope life is treating you well. You have a great day.